All right. We are today going to talk about fear, emotions, and counseling. Again, this is a very big area of study. Sometimes you have to deeply understand, or you can make it even as a profession by studying it in a professional way. And even you can become a doctor, become a counselor, and you can also use all these tools for ministry and even to help yourself if you are suffering or understand others and help others just casually. Everybody needs an understanding of these few things that we are going to learn today. And everybody is going to be a source of help to others also, very especially in the ministry. Even in the theological class, the pastoral care includes this subject very, very importantly. But as I told you, this is not only for a pastoral subject, but definitely a pastoral subject. And definitely, as a person who wants to be a leader, wants to help others, and even the one who wants to help people to grow in Christ and have some ministry for them should know this. Although many things can be talked, I'm only picking up some of the very crucial thing that is necessary for us at this level. And so I'm making my own points and observations. But my own points mean it is not that I'm imagining something and do it. I am only giving you all the professional and scientific and established facts, but in a simple language to you. Okay. What is fear? There are so many things you can all fear as, but these are some of the things that are very formal, and these are some things that you will come across day to day, and these are some of the things which you will definitely want to learn about. So I would like to say fear is an unknown thing just waiting to be explored. Why people fear? First thing is, if you don't know something that is happening to you, and how will you express it? You will simply say, I don't know. Something is there. And then you will little get scared of it. So your body or your spirit will give an alarm. So any unknown thing will be called as a fear. So what you should do? You should now, if you are learning about fear, it is not only an unknown thing, but it is a thing just waiting to be explored. That's all. Since you did not know the fact of it, you are having a fear. But once you explore the fact, then that is no more a fear, isn't it? Sometimes in the villages, if you go, they will say, this person died uh, hurt by a ghost. Ghost hit him and he died. Those days, this used to be very normal talk. But actually, what is the meaning? If they didn't know how the person died, what hurt him, what injured him, what was the disease that put him to death, they will simply blame ghost, and they will have a witch doctor, pusari. They will go and he will do some mantras and perform some puja, saying, yeah, this is a very big demon and a devil, I'm chasing it out, and then he will collect money. Now, all these were there until the medicine was introduced and until the medical field came to the land. The more they discovered what kind of a disease it was, the talk that ghost hit him went away, isn't it? Even sometimes in the families, they say, Pastor, there is a devil in my home, in our home, and it is sitting on me and it is troubling me. And after we understood these kind of medical problems, now we will be able to assess to some extent that it is demon possession or simply a physical ailment or a mind ailment. Many people say, Pastor, come pray, devil is hitting on me and then it is hurting me. I will first immediately accept their words. Where is the devil coming from? Where it is attacking you? And slowly you build the talk, you'll find out what their real problem was. When you pray, first of all, pray for the demon to go away, because definitely there is the devil's touch in everybody's life, no doubt about it. But at the same time, it is only a medical cause. So I have to send them slowly for a counseling or to a doctor who will medically help. It is only an unknown thing. Unknown things will be alerted as fear. It is just waiting to be explored. Come across any fear, explore it. And secondly, fear is a groundless building waiting to be thrashed. Most of the fears we have in life are always groundless. There won't be any reason, but we would not have reasoned it out. Again, it is connected to the previous point. But what has happened from our young age itself, our parents have imposed some kind of a fear on us, isn't it? How many of you know boogeyman, Buchandi? Have anybody seen Buchandi, boogeyman, after you are grown? No. You know that your parents have simply put some fear in you so that you will eat food, so that you will not run out of home. And now you also do the same thing. But nobody in this world could find out who that boogeyman was. But what is happening? That fear goes and stays in your mind. Your mind processes it, registers it as something dangerous. And if you categorize some of the fears and reason it out with proper truth, slowly it goes away. That some people, they have not discovered it, but they have saturated that fear in their mind, that it has become very strong and it is acting as phobia. They simply withdraw and avoid it and still call it fear. But it is a groundless building. What will happen to groundless building? You give one hit, it falls down. This building should be thrashed out. You can start with your own life and sort out your fears, and you can thrash some of the groundless buildings that you have stored in your mind. And then it's an imaginary balloon blown up by others. You can prick it. Yes, if you are grown in a condition where a lot of fear was given to you, some people have unnecessarily blown it. If you go there, that will happen. If you face that man, this will happen. Don't go there, something will happen. Don't go and talk to that person, something will happen. Who told it? Somebody has unnecessarily blown it. And then they also told some stories to build on what they are talking. But the stories are just like a balloon. What you should do? You should simply take a pin and prick it. But what we do? We are also blowing more and more. People will be blowing more and more. And what happens with the fear? They go to either pujaris, witchcrafts, or TV preachers. And they will talk in such way that they are removing this boogeyman and blowing their fear away. You come back another time, you attend all my meetings, and you send your monthly contributions and give one sacrifice for this Amman. All the things they talk, they are only blowing up and working on, and they are manipulating the people by blowing up the balloon. What you should do it? Simply take a pin and prick it, isn't it? If you are not able to do it by yourself, take another professional help, or take the name of Jesus and prick it. Finish. I know it is very easy for me to say all these things, but someone should work on that. It is going to be difficult, and you need a lot of support, isn't it? But you are the support giver. Imagine yourself as a support giver, as an expert. You can work on yourself as well. And then fear is also a reflection that you are in a gang. What does it mean? There are sometimes conditional and contextual fear also. If you belong to a particular family, they would treat something as a fear all through their generation, and that fear would come upon the person. And sometimes, particularly when you are in a slum, these people will say always they live in insecure condition, and they will express fears and then come to fight. When I worked among the people in the slum areas, every time they come and shout at me and fight, and they join as a gang. But what has happened? They are simply expressing a fear, and they express it collectively. And what I should do? I should also say that sometimes I used to say that, yeah, it is like that, it will happen like that. I'm yielding to pressures. But later on, I understand it is simply a fear out of their insecure condition they are talking. So I must help them to come out of that. So sometimes your own fears are only telling that this is a mob expression. You know, mob mentality. If someone, two, three people cries, you will also cry together. If they laugh, you also laugh. If they fight, you will also fight. If they feel in a certain way, you will also feel in a certain way. So all these are mob mentalities. Even fear also goes like that. Somebody will put a fear in your church. Everybody will catch it up, and they will be standing in front of the pastor. Pastor, there's a problem here. What to do? And then, although pastor knows this is only a mob mentality, it is only a fear which is groundless. But still, people are coming here with a different explanation altogether. You must be able to understand your own children, your own families. Supposing your own spouse comes with some kind of a fear and you try to reason it out, they won't be able to understand because they exercise equal authority over you, isn't it? Doesn't matter. But what you do is you must know that these are groundless fears simply expressed in this pattern. Now, there are also healthy fears. Why God created fears? At this point, you must also keep in mind we need to have fear of God. So some people challenge fears and then they say, I must overcome fear. But they should not challenge God, which means they should have fear of God. Who created fear? God. And why He created? There should be some healthy fear in us, no? We must fear God. God is all nothing, simply stories. I can do anything. There is no God. God doesn't watch me. God doesn't do this. God doesn't do that. Don't say that. If you say that, what happened? You are taking a risk. You are willfully risking and challenging your own creator. And when you willfully challenge God, and God will also reply, then you will not be able to stand. It is dangerous to fall in the hands of God, isn't it? Then again, fear of sin. That is also a healthy fear. But we all suffer in this fear. Sometimes people have great fear. Some people, mostly, we do not have fear of sin. Why God has given sometimes a fear of sin? Initially, there will be a fear when we commit sin, isn't it? But that is a gear. Fear is a gear that protects you against your own doom. That's the reason God gives you fear. So when fear comes, it is good. We will work on this fear and then we will protect ourselves so that we will not be punished and we will be saved from the doom. Another thing, another cause of fear is even health. Sometimes your own health will give you, your loss of health will give you fear. So it's a language your body organs say that your energy is down or some part of the body is injured. Some people have fear and a phobia not because they have any external problem. They say there are inner parts, inner important vital organs in our body. There are 12 organs in our body, including heart, lung, and tummy, and a few other vital organs. If some organ is damaged or there is a blockage of energy, that energy is not felt, the supply is not given to that organ, it will also give you some indication. Some people will have fear. Some people will have extreme anger. Some people will have depression. Some people will feel sorrow. But the reason is that some inner organs are not having the supply of oxygen or some energy. So nowadays, medical sciences have come to treat that also. So if you feel that you are having an extreme emotion, it is also good to consult a doctor. Today, many people are not having an idea about it. There are some medical sciences which talk more about this, particularly this acupressure. If you go and take a proper uh, consultation or understanding, they say it is just because some body organs are not having enough energy supply. This happens that emotions come out in different way. If you know some people who are extremely anger, don't hit them, don't even hurt them again, and don't label them. Simply ask them to go to doctor and check. They will say pancreas is not working, it is not having a problem. Maybe you check for diabetes, because if the pancreas doesn't work, then diabetes will come. But when some energy deficiency is there in organ, it will also show as emotion outside. The person will be extremely angry, extremely sad. That's not a spiritual problem. That is not a mental problem. That is a physical problem. So this also can happen. All right. Now,
Excuse
even
me, Pastor.
fear is a buzzer that beeps that your space is full, saying your space is full. Some people are workaholic. They do overwork. Even I used to do that. And when you go beyond your level without any control, just imagine you are working with the office. In an office, you have your table, and so many things are filled on your table. People keep, and you keep adding. What will happen at one point? You will not understand what to do. You will be confused. Or even if you keep more breaks, table can break physically, and you cannot do any work. You say, "Come on, clean the table. Tomorrow I will come and work." Everything will stop, come to a standstill. Your mind won't work. It is exactly the thing. More work, taking more tension, your buzzer will beep saying fear. I had once a panic attack. You cannot freely be there. Suddenly some fear will come and then you will run here and there. You won't know what to do. I didn't know that it is a panic attack. Later on, thank God I was guided to a doctor, and then I had to be on treatment for a long time. Then I came out of the panic attack. Today, all these are lessons for us to communicate also. So how to treat fears?
Excuse me, Pastor.
Treat it with the truth. Groundless fears are there, which we have heard or undealt or unexplored all through in our lifetime. That could be dealt with gathering the facts. I used to have a fear for dogs. You happen to see a dog, you tremble. Anything may happen to you. You may faint also. But later on, when I started studying about the dogs, what exactly triggers my fear? Is it real or unreal? What exactly I should fear, what I should not do, or how to handle a dog, how dogs will feel, how people handle dogs. Now my fear has gone away. Anything happening? Okay, your screen is gone. Okay, I'll do the screen. Yeah. Thank you, Pastor. All right. So hope you have the screen now. So now I used to have fear of dogs. Now I overcome. Now I enjoy looking at dogs. Sometimes the ferocious dogs will come. No, sometimes I go to some homes. Ferocious dogs will come and pounce on you. Sometimes when I go on the streets, sometimes we used to go to carol rounds. 10 dogs will come and just round me, and then they will just about to pounce on me, and even they may bite me also. I will never fear. I'll simply stand cool, And I will use some methods to drive them away also. That also I know now. How? It's all gathering facts. And I used to always be scared of ghosts. You can't sleep, you can't see the dark, you can't be alone in home. Then I just happened to work on that. I said, I must now work on that. I had to know, read books, and I had to consult people. What is this fear all about? Where is it coming from? What is the rationale behind it? Now, finally, I came out of the fear of ghosts. I also came out of some phobias. And there are some phobias in my life which I have not worked out. It is still there. But there are some phobias which I have worked out and come. So gather the facts. Once you gather the facts, then use those facts and confront it. What is the fear you have? Label it, confront it, step by step, little by little, one at a time. If you do it, one day you will yourself understand that you have overcome it. And confront also your fear with faith and obedience. If this is something that you need to have a fear, then because you have a knowledge of God and you have to put your faith in Him and you have to obey Him, accept the fear and hold it. The fear of God is needed. So treat it with faith and obedience. And also treat your fears with another mind. If you cannot handle fear, use another mind, some expert. Go for a counseling. Someone who can say there is difference between Christian counseling and secular counseling. Some people counsel well, some people they won't counsel well. Some people know how to counsel, some people even amateurly they will counsel. Varieties of people. Take your own help. If your mind is in a mess, if you cannot handle yourself, treat it with another mind. And also treat it with another material. Sometimes what happens, we undergo fear, and a fear is also a kind of a gland that releases some adrenalines or some material will be released from your mind, isn't it? So when it is released from your mind, or if it dries up, or if it changes, those hormones could be treated by medicines also. Since body and mind have connection, even medicines are also used to help. Now, sometimes when you have extreme fear, or when you have some psychological problems, psychiatric problems, suddenly you will be restless. What does it mean? It increases your fear, it increases your blood flow, and faster flow of blood will be there. You cannot handle yourself, and you will feel that you are restless or your BP is going high. But actually, what has happened? A kind of fear that has released some hormones and it has increased your blood flow. So your heart wanted to beat more blood is required. So more blood is flowing. And you won't know what is happening to you. You will simply feel that you feel like going mad, or you are restless, you will run, you want to scream. Actually, what is happening? Simply your blood is growing faster, running faster. That's all. So you put a pill, your blood flow will slow down and you will absolutely dramatically become normal. So medical field has now come up with sciences and medicine. So sometimes your body is one material, treat it with another material medicine. That is fear. Now, another related subject is emotions. We'll come to emotions. What are some of the major emotions you notice? Anger, fear, and sometimes impulsiveness. Some people cannot sit in one place. They'll be very hyper. Do this, do that. You have to say, hey, sit in one place here. Don't talk. First listen. In a crowd, in your committee, or in your workplace, or in your classroom, some people will be over impulsive. There are difference between natural impulsive characters and also these kind of a problematic impulsive characters because of their emotions. Then some people will have extremely negative emotions because of some of the hurts that they have gone through, and it's chronic and still continuing. They will have a negative, pessimistic thoughts always in their mind, and you cannot have an interesting chat with them. You always sit with them, they will cut you into piece with their problems and worries, and you won't know how to handle this person, and you will run away. Depression is feeling extremely sad and sorrowful, and if it goes beyond a level, it has stages. It starts with sorrow and sadness, loneliness, and then it goes to extreme level of sadness. They will withdraw, and if it goes beyond a certain level, they can even become clinically depressed, which means mental illness. Or some people cannot handle, they go suicidal. But thank God, those days no treatment. Now one pill will change that. All that they need to do is go to the doctor, take a treatment, and follow a course of treatment. Schizophrenia is different from depression, clinical depression. Schizophrenia is naturally some hormones, some body parts are having some problems, hormones are not there, so a person is mad right from his birth. But clinical depression is a temporary case, mental illness. Maybe a person underwent a traumatic, shocking experience, so his mind has gone out of him. So it is mental illness. So you nowadays lot of medicines are there. Only you have to treat, and then you have to cure it. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. The problem today is mental illness is increasing because of the shift in lifestyle. Lot of toxic uh, lifestyle. But what is happening? The problem with the clinically depressed people, mentally affected people, is they don't realize that they are mentally affected, and they have to go through a long process of treatment. So they will not take medicines, and they will say, I'm all right. How to treat? That is one major problem. Now we see in our pastoral ministry, we see many things. So always we must understand these facts. All right. You take one case, anger. You see the screen, anger. It has always it has three sides to it. For example, anger means urge to shout or fight. On the other side, physically, it is your heart is racing, and then your expression is, what is he doing? So there will be uh, three different point of impact. You call it as this person is angry. This is an emotional triangle to anger. Similarly, you can take any case. An emotion will have a different point of input, at least three. All right. Now, supposing a person is sad, what urge he will have inside is to stay at home and avoid socializing, withdrawal. And physically, he will feel or she will feel heaviness. And what he will say or she will say, oh, I'm going to miss her. I'm missing him. So when such expressions come out of somebody's mouth, and when you see that they are also showing some kind of a action and reaction and gestures, you should be able to know that they are suffering with these things. All right. Now, when you are able to understand what I'm talking now, you should be able to even understand your own self. You must have gone through that temporarily. Now, how does any emotion work? What is its functional pattern? Number one is trigger. When people are normal, suddenly one emotion outburst will come. How? It triggers. And it also triggers by the internal ways and external ways also. Internally, you are engaged in some thoughts, and suddenly you remember something, immediately you get triggered. Or externally, you happen to see some event, some people, or you see an action, or you watch a scene in the TV, or you happen to see something happening in front of you are triggered. So always an emotion will have, number one, a trigger. Secondly, a reaction will be there. Any triggers will lead you to reaction. It may be withdrawal, or you will become very abusive, or you will become dominative, or even you will become very suppressive, and you will become very what to say, miserable. You will feel yourself miserable, self-pity. All these things can happen. Or you may say, these people are putting me into trouble. Oh, they are against me. They are talking about me, bad people. Particularly, you are in a good position. You are a talented person, well recognized by others. If you are suffering some kind of internal reactions like this, you will always share that person is bad. This person is bad. He is telling me like this. That pastor is talking against me like this. I don't know all these people. Then you will immediately start feeling sorry for them, and then you will start taking everything very seriously, whatever they told, instead of understanding and counseling. So the reaction matters. Then autopilot. So what happened? Trigger gives to reaction. Then also it will create some behaviors without your knowledge. You will be behaving in certain way, and that behaviors will be offensive. You yourself will know, others also will know. Sometimes you won't know, others know, but you don't know how to handle it. Some person will be constantly missing. Some person will be constantly not showing interest. Some person will be constantly commenting negatively. Some person will be constantly sleep, lazy, autopilot mode it goes. It also can lead to some disorders. Something happens, they will become uh, mentally ill or depressed or very angry. And sometimes a thought pattern will develop, and just like a cycle, it will keep on going inside. That is called as OCD, occultic compulsive disorder. So these kind of autopilot reactions will be there. All right. So all these are now studied. How an emotion, you look at this chart, emotion of a fear, how it affects the mind, how it affects the body, and what kind of a behavior it does. Anger, sadness, guilt, or even joy and happiness, or some people who are content. Now all these happen, and there are also now studies that has uh, come out helping the people. Now, for example, I have made a, you look at this, I've taken this chart about anxiety disorder, or general anxiety disorder, social anxiety, social phobia, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, specific phobias. Now, all these are kind of anxiety disorders. So now, trigger, reaction, autopilot. This is the way you have to study and then treat yourself. Or if you go to a professional, a doctor, they will examine you, ask your history, and then ask all that, and then put in these three categories. And then they know how to take a call, where to take a call, and where to advise you, where to give you medicine, where to help you work on. All that they will tell you. Look at this quotation. Remember that the emotion is, what is the emotion? Emotion is trying to get your attention. If you don't listen, it will keep trying. However, if you recognize the emotion you are feeling, then the intensity of the emotion can actually reduce by itself. So if you recognize the emotion you are feeling, then the intensity of the emotion can actually reduce by itself. Keep that in mind, and we'll now understand how to treat these emotions. Number one, if somebody is saying, why you are angry, why you are talking all negative, if somebody says that, take that word, because now you are getting a clue about what is happening with you. So recognize it and accept it. Somebody says you are unnecessarily becoming emotional, you are becoming too much, you are becoming dominative, you are becoming unnecessarily angry. If a right person says that, take that. Between the spouses, sometimes some people will kindle the anger, and then you will show reaction. Why you are getting angry? That is different. Why that is different? You are making me angry, therefore I'm angry. After I started recognizing all this with the people, sometimes people will shout. Then naturally you have to come out. Then they will say, "Oh, you get angry?" And I say, "Okay, let me cool down." Then I will say, "You also cool down, yaar. I will also be cool down." You know, that is different. But how if a person is really unnecessarily getting angry, impulsive, abusive, and some person is, the third person is rightly noticing and saying that, immediately you must be able to accept it. Then only you will be helped. Otherwise, you won't have help. It will lead you to other problems. So recognize and accept it, label it. This is my problem. Once you label it, then your help comes, your treatment and your solution comes. Go to a garage. What is garage? To reflect and to understand and work on ourselves. Okay. So to sit and analyze what went the problem, what are the things that is happening to me. Then how to analyze it and how to work in your garage workstation. Take a note or piece of paper and a pen and start writing it. Journal it. Start writing and then start observing. Keep writing. Morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you are able to, whenever you have a problem, whenever you face a situation, or over a period of some time, some days, some weeks, months, journal it. Where exactly you are triggered? Is it an environment that is triggering you, or a specific kind of event that is triggering you? Write it down. I have done this exercise myself several times. And also journal the reactions. Write it down. What are your patterns of reaction? Write it. Write everything properly. Then recognize the zone you are in. You are in a low zone or middle zone or a moderate zone. I wanted to attach some pictures here, but if you go deep into it, it will go in all directions. You will not be able to control. So which zone you are in, hyperzone or hypozone? All right. Now quickly, how to treat, reduce it by philosophies. Sometimes our own thought patterns will trigger us. Supposing I get angry always, people say I'm getting angry always. Then I will say, why I should react like yesterday? Sometimes even in preaching, I say, Arey, you all are fighting. Don't keep fighting the same way you fought yesterday. You fight in a different way, I said. Why? Because your thoughts, you have not changed your thoughts. So you look at a problem in one particular way and then it angers you. So how to control your anger? First of all, check your thoughts. Should I really get angry? Or to what extent I should get angry? Is there any other way of treating it? If I'm not able to change a person, why should always, still keep fighting in the same way? And I spoil my testimony and everybody's testimony. Why don't you do it different way? So in a situation which I'm going to constantly face like this, why don't I think differently and work differently? So change your own thoughts. So that is a way to reduce the triggers. So reduce your emotions, wrong emotions, by philosophy, by changing your thoughts to good thoughts and right thoughts. Reform your reactions. Now you observe your own reactions. Sometimes you become hyper, sometimes you become very verbal, vocal, sometimes you become silent, sometimes you become very revengeful. No, reform your reactions. Instead of shouting, you start keeping silent. Instead of taking revenge, leave it to God. You forgive. Forgiveness means sometimes leaving it to God also, instead of taking revenge, isn't it? Bible teaches in Romans chapter 12, revenge belongs to God. You don't do it. You only bless the people. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If your enemy is thirsty, give him water to drink. If you do that, then you will put the coals upon his head, which simply means he will face his own consequence. You don't have to worry. And then it also says revenge belongs to God. So reform your reactions. I don't have to keep reacting in the same way and always trying to retaliate. But this is what people do outside. They don't know how to control their anger. But sometimes you can help others. Once I got into a bus because my bike had gone for service morning around some 5:30. And conductor asked for a change. This fellow won't give. Then he said, you get down. He said, I cannot get down. No, you have to get down. And then he went to hit the conductor. Both of them very big fight. After the bus reached Majestic, this fellow called somebody and say, "This is a guy. Come on, let us do something to him." So I know that's going to be a big fight in the city. So how to do it? How to control it? How to help it? I just got on and went behind this guy who was holding the phone. So and then I said, I just went behind him and hugged him from behind. Hey man, how are you? I gave a smile. Hey, who are you? I was standing next to you in the bus. Why, man? Why you are fighting? No. I won't leave him. You wait and see. He doesn't know who me. He was an absolute rugged fellow. And I told him, hey man, you started the day. Why do you want to lose your peace in the day? And why do you want to affect others? It has happened. Finish. Come on. Go happily. Go do your work. You have a productive day ahead. No. I won't do like that. Array, you can do, man. Go, man. I just, tapped him and went. He became calm. And then he put his phone in the pocket and then he just walked. Now, what is happening here? You have to reform your reactions and help others. And sometimes you may have to help yourself, isn't it? Calm your body and mind. Today, we are not able to have a secure and healthy lifestyle. We think more, we take so many problems into our head. Instead of giving simple solutions or leave it to God and to its sense, we confuse so many things, isn't it? That's a life we are having. But God says, calm your mind, isn't it? But today, even this is becoming a very big business, how to calm your mind. You do yoga, you do exercise. These are some things that naturally we should do. You sit, you meditate, you focus your eyes in your forehead, the center point. We were taught right from our young age, and that helped me so much. But now it's becoming yoga, it's becoming kind of a mystic spirituality. And then people say, don't do that, all that is there. Simple exercise, these are physical exercise. Calm your mind, have some exercise. Hear good music. Every time you cannot hear good music. If you don't like music in that moment, you don't listen to music. Go for a walk. Do exercise. Join a club. Join a fitness or collect some friends and play every day. Relax your life. Calm your mind. Exercise. Increase your alkaline content. They say you have to drink water more. Why? Most of the stuff we eat are acidic. That's why our body gets affected. Coke, Pepsi, full acid. Our body gets spoiled. Non-veg and spices. But doctors say you must have more alkaline content in your body to cool you down so the toxics will not gather. Drink more water. Similarly, in your life, in your mind, in your lifestyle, lot of toxics gather. It becomes acidic. Have more word of God. Laugh, pray, smile. Why? Because your life has to be alkalinized. It doesn't have to always have acid in your body. Vent it. Yes. Bible says, cry with those who cry, weep with those who weep, and rejoice with those who rejoice. Romans chapter 12. You read it again. Romans chapter 12, I have memorized it. God wants you to vent it out. You may have to cry, you may sometimes share, but somehow do it and finish it. When someone dies, they have a memorial service. Why? They want to finish the sorrow and the grief that they carry by having a meeting, calling somebody and then sharing it and take it to your mind and heart saying, this person is gone. So put an end and full stop to it. All right. So these are the ways we handle our emotions by observing, understanding, and working on that. Fine. Let us come to the last part, counseling. Oh, it's a very big subject. You can have a diploma degree or you can even have a PhD. It's a profession in itself. But what we can do at this point to help ourselves. The biggest therapy for anybody who is in trouble is listening. Do you listen to people if someone talks? Some people are very bad in listening. I had a very big problem listening. If one person says one word, I will say 10 words. So then when I come to my conscious, then I will stop. Listening. Somebody is in a trouble or somebody is trying to say something. Somebody is saying, Pastor, I want to meet you. Somebody say, hey, shall we go for a coffee? Or they simply give you a call. Hey, what did you study here today? Or they say, Anna, I want to help. Uh, how to solve this problem in the bank. But actually, they are having some other problem. They simply want to share it with someone. The problem is something and they're telling something. Sometimes people come to us saying, Pastor, I have a pain in my back. Can you pray for me? Actually, when I say, when anybody tells me, I have a pain in my back, first thing I ask, do you have a problem at home? And most of the cases, people are told yes. Since they did not have any outlet to vent it out, they simply imagine that there is a pain in the back, pain in the shoulder. Yes, of course, there could be pain in the shoulder, pain in the back. You have to solve it. You can go to a doctor. But how if they have projected it because they did not have a vent out or an outlet to share some of their inner problems? Then I pray for their problems also. And they say, Pastor, yesterday you came, you prayed, and when my pain went away, praise the Lord. And they may also share a testimony, Pastor has miraculous power. But what happened actually? They have vented their problems out and I have reflected it. And then we brought it to the Lord. And once it is went out, actually your imagined pain goes away. Imagination sometimes becomes real also. But everything is cured because this is a ministry God has given. When we take that in the right sense and apply it rightly, God works. Only thing is we must understand and rightly treat it, isn't it? Listening. If someone is suicidal, if someone is having some problem, depressed, what is the treatment? Listen to them. Listening is therapy in itself. Without being judgmental, we listen. And first thing is reassure them first. If at all you have to talk, reassure first. No problem. Oh, this is all well known. This is an ordinary problem. We all go through. Don't worry. You will come out of it. One or two words. Reassure. That is important. Then recognize what is their problem. Now, something I have written here, recognize the area and the slips. Now, what is happening? As I just now told you, a person will say that there is a pain in my body. So, should I immediately send them to a good doctor? I have my good friend who is a doctor here. He's ortho. Please go there and treat. No, don't do that because the problem is elsewhere. So, first you must find out where exactly the problem lies. If a person is having a mental problem or a spiritual problem, first of all, he will think my problem is maybe God is not answering me, or I have not done my duties well, so God is punishing me. Of course, God does that. God works that way also. Then he will shift from that to say, no, 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 maybe, because that day I did not sleep well, my body is not functioning. So he will come to you to pray and then discuss about his body. But if you give some years, slowly they will bring out the other problems also. Then you will be able to find out the real problem is his social problem. He's not able to relate to the people who are next to him in this new environment condition in the office. So is instead of recognizing the right area of problem, he's now saying physical, but in between some spiritual. So he has slipped from one area to the other. You'll be able to find out. Have you done that? We always do that. Even if I teach you all these things, even I will have the same problem. I'll be slipping from one area to the other. But if we are a good counselor, you will be able to notice it. Now, what is counseling? Counseling, as I told, is maybe a simple listening, or a simple smile, or a simple touch, or simply a hug, even without words. Somebody said, when you go to a death house bereaving people, you don't have to give any word to them. A simple touch or a hug will do, because the grief cannot be answered properly by any words. Now, if at all you are there to listen to somebody and then you have to give a solution, you don't give your solution, but you give only your suggestion from the person's problem only. Because somebody, if they have any problem and they have come for counseling, they themselves will have answers. While they're sharing only, the answers would have come. So many options of answers would have come out. So you don't have to give your solution. Otherwise, they will lose confidence if it doesn't work that way. They themselves would give the solution. Pick them up, highlight, why don't you told like this, why don't you try this out? We'll pray and then we'll try to see how does it work. That is how the solutions could be given by a counselor. And as I told you, some people will come with demon possession problem, but I should be able to understand if it is really demon possession or physical and mental help that's required for them. I should be able to say, okay, we'll pray for you or do this. Or why don't you consult a psychologist? Psychologist is different, psychiatrist is different, isn't it? If you send people for counseling, people do not want to go to a psychiatrist, so they avoid. Psychologist is different, psychiatrist is different. Psychologist will say where exactly you have stuck in your pattern of trigger or reaction or autopilot, and they will help you with some of the correct things. And then if that is required to be treated by medicine, they will send to the right person. All right. So you should have some knowledge and understanding of where to send the people for. Today, pastors are also not having, even big pastors are not having an idea about this. Elders are not having idea. Parents are not having idea. Teachers are not having idea. Somehow that awareness has not come here. So as a counselor, keep working on that so that whomever God sends to you, you can guide them properly, showing them to the right expert for help. But very importantly, secure them with the creator and the organizer. Who's that? God himself. God only created us. He definitely will have solution. Creator has a solution. And not only he is a creator, he is also organizer. He organizes sometimes even your own troubles. He permits it. He organizes. And Bible says that for those who love the Lord and called by him, everything works together for good. God leads everything for good. He organizes, and he sometimes allows you to go through the problem. And if a problem is there in a person, he brings that person to you. Why? So that you will guide them and then lead them to Christ himself. This is not to come between God and a person. You have to lead a person to God. Today, what's happening, if some solution comes, immediately people make you God. Brother, you only pray, you are the person who's my guru. Yeah, you can be a guru, but definitely you are not keeping that person. You are not keeping your mentor or a guru between you and God. As a counselor, as a pastor, as a Christian leader, you need to lead a person to Christ, and that's where your job ends. And you have to support. Now, this is something that you yourself need. So that is counseling all about. Hope you had some idea about all these things, and then you will definitely start using it. And sometimes in my VBS class, children will be very naughty. One or two children will be very naughty. So there is a way of dealing it, particularly the discipline problem. If you don't give a proper air facility, sitting facility, they will be cramped. Children will sometimes make discipline problem, will come out with this discipline problem. But there are some people, some children who come from broken families, poor families, they will have identity problem. And do you know at the time what you should do? Locate that person and say, call them by name. Name is very important. Calling everybody by name is very important. That itself is a big treatment, that you know a person. And then, come on, why don't you pray today? Or why don't you keep uncle's Bible with you? You please keep it safe. This, they will immediately do it. So you are feeding to their identity crisis problem. Similarly, some people always have some identity problem, even in the church. So what you do, counseling is just praying for them, just giving a personal attention to them. That's all. What is your name? Where are you coming from? All right. I like your way of dressing, it is not just to, flatter or just to attract somebody. This is something to say a good word to somebody. It's a counseling. And finally, leading them to God and impressing God upon them as a living God. So this is a job of a counselor. Hope as Christian leaders, you will keep this in mind. Okay, so we close here.